someone now is Hafiz of Quran, does multiple khatams a year, is revising hardcore in Ramadan because he has to stand there for Taraweeh. His poor legs are shaking. He makes a mistake in Fatiha, right? But he gets through it at the end of it, done. But then he leaves Eid and he's like, oh, I didn't, so.
Yeah, for Hufaz, that especially Hufaz that are young boys that are, they've memorized and then they recite well, and then they get put in a position to lead the prayer, right? And then they're so nervous because they have to review, and their muraja'ah goes into high gear in Ramadan, and then it's performative, right? And we've created a culture of them having to perform, and we've made them performers for our sake.
Right.
Right. And then nobody's happy. Somebody says you recited too slow. Somebody says you recited too fast. Right. And then there's the Ramadan Olympics. Who's going to lead on the 27th night? Who's going to do the etc. So.
And I'm going to do a hot take here. You bring in the qari and and then you get the TikTok qaris who become famous for so it becomes a performance.
And you know what? I'm not here to criticize that.
Right.
At least they're getting some Quran out of this, right?
Right.
But my concern is for those young men that are leading those prayers, right? My advice to them would be, do what you're doing, that's fine. But identify a small portion of the Quran that you spend time with for your heart, not for your memorization, not for your, your performance in leading the prayer, not for your review. That was all, it's like saying somebody spent their entire time perfecting their wudu and never got to the prayer.
Okay,
that's the analogy.
Right, okay, yeah.
Right? So all of this recitation and memorization, that's the equivalent of wudu. The contemplation and the engagement with the word of Allah, that's the actual prayer. That's what this book came for. So you are in a unique position because you have so much quantitative Quran in you. Use Ramadan to, at least a part of Ramadan should be dedicated to a qualitative reading of the Quran. My other advice to Hufaz the rest of the year, especially if you're looking forward to coming of Ramadan and you're preparing for it and this is exciting for you, I'm happy that it is. I would like every Hafiz that can understand English, I would like to invite them to go take the year and go through my entire concise commentary and go through it every year. Not the deeper look, it's okay. Just the concise commentary, finish it every year. It's a couple of 100 hours. Just go through the whole thing every year. And in a couple of years, even if you haven't learned Arabic, you're leading Taraweeh and you're actually remembering, at least at the surface level, what Allah is saying.
Yeah.
And